Hello everybody, welcome to Lobricks. Today we are working on the Tatooine MOC. More specifically, in this general area, we have to rebuild Ben's hut, and there is some things that I wanted to update on the general cityscape of Mos Eisley, since we are starting to add some things to Jawa's palace and the new Jawa sail barge and skiff area back where Mos Espa used to be. So we're gonna start by repairing Ben's hut because there was a little bit of a filming incident and it got nuked. And then we're gonna take a look to see what improvements we can make in Mos Eisley. All right, so first up, we have to rebuild the hut. We're gonna have to make sure we have all the pieces. This is what's left of it. There are gonna be extra pieces in here because some of the mountain is also in here as well. We do have all of our figures, so that's nice. We also still have the Princess Leia hologram piece, so it's good to see that nothing major got lost. So Leaky's gonna be putting this back together while we take a look at Mos Eisley and see what we can upgrade.
Assistant, before we got going, I wanted to talk a little bit about this set, because when we first started Lobricks way back in 2020, this was kind of our foundational set for the Tatooine MOC. We needed a lot of Mos Eisley buildings. This was before the UCS Cantina came out. So this was our core set. I think we bought 75 or 100 of these sets.
Yes, we did. We got a lot of Tusken Raiders from this one, as well as R2-D2. Those are all over the place. And I think it's quite a meme, the number of Obi-Wan Kenobis we have at this point. But yeah, we did get quite a lot of these.
And the one thing this also told us, this was for sale back in what was like 2020, 2021, 200 pieces, and this was 30 bucks.
Came with 4 figures. Nowadays, the same size set for similar builds, yes, you do get a little bit more pieces, but one less figure now costs $45. That's a pretty striking increase in cost.
That's like 15 more bucks for worse crap.
Well, actually less crap, because you're not getting as many minifigures. Now, there's an argument to be made that Teenage Apprentice Ahsoka Tano might be, you know, better than an R2-D2 and Tusken Raider. Don't get me wrong, I get it. But for $45, I just don't see the added value compared to 4 years ago. So there's definitely a lot of increase in cost when it comes to these LEGO products nowadays.
Inflation!
Alright, so one of the things that I wanted to do in Mos Eisley was fix this little Jawa's Mart over here. It's constantly breaking and falling apart, and that's because it was not very well built to begin with. So we'll just take out that building there, and we'll see what we can do to replace it and make it look a lot better. But there's also a bigger and growing concern on Tatooine is it's getting very dusty. So I've actually enlisted the help of a very important tool. This here leaf blower. And it might be too powerful, so we're gonna see if we just turn it on and give it a blow. It might knock over all our figures and send stuff flying, but there's only one way to find out. And if it does work, everything will be a lot less dusty. Because if you take a close look at the MOC, it's been a couple years since this got built, and it is in a little bit of rough shape. So I'm gonna plug this leaf blower in and give it a try. Hopefully it doesn't create too much havoc. Let's see where this is gonna go. Alright, so after hitting it with the leaf blower, we did knock over a few things, but it got a lot of that general dust out of the MOC, which makes things looking a little bit nicer around here, and it's going to make it a little easier to work with. Alright, so this is the very first area that I want to work on, and basically my goal here is to recreate the Jawa shop, but with jumper plates. And the reason why that is so important is for modularity. We plan to take this MOC to Brick World in Chicago someday in the future, so we're going to need to be able to move these buildings around. So that is going to be an important step in getting there. The first thing I'm going to do is rip out all these plates and install a jumper system building where I can easily slot a building in and out. So let's rip up these plates and see what we can come up with. Okay, so there we go. I built a nice little pad there with jumper plates on each corner so we can place down our Jawa's shop area. So that's pretty cool. We also did have some spare yellow border bricks from our Clone Wars build, so I decided to incorporate those just so we know where the shops start and end. So this is going to be the base of the new shop, and it just kind of falls down in there and clicks into place like so. It does stick up a little bit, but as you can see, because we raised it up by one plate there, you can't actually see the gray, but it's easily removable, so when we bring it to Brick Fair, it won't be a problem. Although it looks like those jumper plates might be a little grabby. Alright, so this is what I have so far with the new Jawa's shop. So essentially, it's going to slot in like so, and I did build a little bit of a gradual build up there with some plates just to give it a nice stepping stone in. But these gold platforms are going to be places where we can put some minifigs, and then this brown outline will give us a nice place to put some shelves. It also is a lot more solid because I decided to only use one of these prefabricated pieces for the walls, and the rest I'm going to build up with bricks. So it should be a pretty solid unit. I do want to maintain our little dome on top, but I want it to be a little bit more securely mounted because this thing was breaking off all the time. So I got a pretty good start here, but I'm gonna have to build up the walls and install the roof and then figure out what kind of merchandise these Jawas are gonna be selling. Alright, here's the progress so far. I've done quite a bit. I built up all the walls. I was making sure to add in texture along the way, just so it looks pretty interesting. I decided to add in these two little lights up front as well, so that should look nice. I also did put a jumper plate right there so we can add the roof. That's what I'm going to work on next, but for right now, we can just slide that shop into place, and now that looks pretty good. And as you can see on all sides, you can't see any of the gray, but it's now fully modular. So that's what we're going to want to do with most of these buildings around Mos Eisley. But since I've been working on this for a while, let's go see where Leaky Trooper is with Ben's hut. How's it coming along?
It is very good. So we got Ben and R2-D2 and Luke. No C-3PO, but C-3PO didn't come with this set, so.
Well, that's pretty good. There's his hut. I do think we made some modifications to the original, to this back in particular. I think we just covered it up with some flat bricks. But overall, this is pretty much what we need, and we can set it back on top of the mountain over here. But we are going to have to do some minor repairs to make that work. So once I'm done with the roof of the Jawa shopping area, we can affix Ben's hut permanently back into place over here and fix up our little bit of a rugged mountain situation we got going on. Alright, so there's the new building, and I managed to build a pretty good looking roof, at least in my opinion, that retains the dome. It is a much cleaner and nicer locking system on the back for the dome, and I added in some nice details and made it look a little rugged. So I think that is going to look really nice around back and is a definite upgrade from before. Because remember, before I could just push that over and it all fell apart. Now it's one modular unit. That's going to really help us when we want to deliver this to Brick World. But anyway, the next step is to add in our shelves and then some minifigures. So I think I'm going to keep the 3 Jawas in there, but put one more patron, and I think I'm going to add 3 more pedestrians to the cityscape of Mos Eisley. So stick around to see what those are going to be. Alright, so I just added in a little bit of shelving and then merchandise within the Jawa shop. So I am going to add in some figures. There's going to be a new fella there shopping for some merchandise. And then I'm going to add 2 Jawas in as well, looking around at what they have for sale. And then that should really fill out this store here. And then I'm just going to put one Jawa right there kind of at the doorway. So that's looking pretty good. And then we can put on the roof like so. And there we have it, a brand new Jawa trading booth right there in Mos Eisley, and that's really going to improve the overall look, at least I feel, especially with all those new gold details and all sorts of stuff there with like the lamps and everything out front. So that definitely looks a lot better, and it's a lot more solid and modular. So that brings us to Ben's hut. We just have to securely put this in place and fix up our little bit of a sidewall issue here. So let's rebuild this corner and then secure Ben's hut. All right, so there we have it. I've got this corner fixed up, and we have a nice flat area to put Ben's hut overlooking Mos Eisley. So let's affix Ben's hut, and then we can place down some minifigures to add some overall life to the downtown city area, get some more creepy folk walking. Okay, there we go. Ben's hut is affixed to the MOC, and they can officially look over Mos Eisley with an official home, no longer a destroyed cliff face. So that is very nice. We also were able to get that done today too, which is epic. But as far as building, that's pretty much gonna do it. We do have to add 3 minifigures to Mos Eisley, so that is exciting. But as far as next time, we are gonna be working on Jabba's palace. We're gonna be connecting everything together and getting an overall layout for the whole palace, and hopefully getting it as one big unit that we can move in and out of the bottom layer of Jabba's palace right here. So that's going to be super exciting. So if you want to see that, make sure to subscribe. But let's get our minifigures on the board. Okay, first up is this guy right here, and I'm just going to have him wandering on the other side of these robots because there's not a whole lot of people over in this area, so I'm just going to put him right there. Next up, we have this lady right here, and she's going to go right in front of Sebulba's shop, just kind of walking down the street, just because there's not a whole lot of people in this general shopping area, so she's just going to be placed right there. So there's one more figure on the board. All right, and our last gentleman is this fella right here, and we're just gonna put him in this hallway because, again, there's not any minifigures walking down this particular area, and we want Mos Eisley to be a pretty densely populated city with a lot of folk walking around. So there's 3 more citizens in Mos Eisley. But all right, guys, that is going to do it for today's episode. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on what we got coming up next. We got a lot of cool stuff planned for Jabba's Palace and the sail barge, so it's going to be a really, really cool series coming back to Tatooine and really modifying it and getting it ready for Brick World Chicago. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching Lobricks, and I will see ya in the next one.